Mercedes-Benz India is all set to launch 2 more SUVs in the Indian market before closing in on what has been a fantastic 2022 for the Germans. Yes, the cars that you see here, the EQB on my left, the GLB on my right, are these 2 new SUVs, which means that the company will have 13 SUVs in their India product portfolio. Now, for a company that has SUVs ranging from the GLA to the enormously popular GLC to even the GLEs and the GLS, how and where do the GLB and the all-electric version fit in? Well, for starters, both of these cars have 3 rows of seating. Now remember, the only other SUV from the Mercedes lineup in India that has seating for 7 is the GLS and the GLS Maybach. But the 2 cars, those 2 may not fit every budget because that sits at the top of the SUV lineup of the Mercedes company here in India. But that's where the GLB is looking to make a difference. 3 rows of seating, Mercedes claims that the last row is perfect for pets and pre-teens, is this car's main claim to fame. It is also often referred to as the baby GLS. While proportionally it is quite similar and identical to the GLC, it has a lot of styling cues that are inspired from the flagship SUV. Starting with the powerful grille, the power dromes, the headlight units, the DRLs, all the way back to the split LED taillight units are inspired quite generously from the GLS. Of course, we've extensively experienced both of these cars, we've test driven them, and our opinions are under the embargo. But in this walk around video, we're going to touch upon some of the key aspects of this car. Starting with the GLB, I've already mentioned some of the highlights visually speaking. This car comes in 3 broad variants. You get it in both petrol and diesel engine options. You get it in the 200, the 220D, and for those who are into the AMG things, this car also comes with the 220D AMG line, which is what you see right here. The EQB is proportionally identical to the GLB, which means it's also quite similar to the GLC, but it has its own all-electric visual styling elements that clearly tell you that this is powered by battery. The closed grille, the stretch light panel, the headlight design, the stretch light design on the rear, on the trunk, are some of the visual highlights on the outside. While the EQB stands on 18-inch alloys, the car behind me, the GLB, stands on 19-inch alloys. But there are some very significant similarities between both the cars as far as the cabin are concerned. The biggest one, of course, is that, as I've previously mentioned, both these cars are offered in the 7-seat layout. Now, getting into that 3rd row of the GLB and the EQB, there's a lever on the seat. Pull, push, and slide the seats forward. There is some space for the person to get into that last row. The last row have 2 seats and get cup holders and plenty of charging options as well. The other prominent feature highlights of both of these cars are 2 10.25-inch infotainment screens, a large sunroof on the top, climate control functionality, multiple speakers, and a whole lot more. Now, on the GLB, there are 3 upholstery options that you can choose, but on the EQB, you get this rose gold finish on the seats as well as on the air vents and on the dash. Now, of course, the EQB is powered by a 66.5 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The company claims that that is good enough for a drive range of around 450 kilometers before you need to plug this car in. If you're driving the petrol or the diesel versions of this car, well, no such range anxiety issues. But for more, much more on both of these cars, as I mentioned right at the start, do check out our in-depth review as well. But in this episode though, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching.